Hi everyone, Gianni Di Poce here with you for TheoTrade, and today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. Stocks finished lower on the day, but they did have a nice mid-session rally and still managed to finish off the lows of the day. You can see around the closing bell here, we did get a bit of a sell-off, but a little bit of a bounce. And I think what's happening now is all eyes are on NVIDIA's earnings, which I will get to in just a moment. But still seeing a bit of an unwind from the tech trade. The semiconductors actually holding up all right, but Nasdaq finished down less than the S&P today. Dow was down a little bit more than the Nasdaq, so that's I would say a pretty good sign going into tomorrow, going into Nvidia's earnings. It is worth noting that the Dow did take out last week's low. That being said, I do see this set up here for the next important market bottom. So what's interesting is that when stocks hit their all-time highs last week in the case of the S&P and the Nasdaq, you actually saw bearishness across a few different sentiment surveys increase. And so coming into this week, we're 3 days from the all-time high. If anything, when these new sentiment surveys get released later this week, I'd be looking for bearishness to be even higher. So for me, this is a textbook setup for a higher low to form and for the next rally to new all-time highs to ensue. So I am looking for that low to happen at some point this week. Perhaps NVIDIA ends up being the catalyst. You can see the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index squeezing out a very modest gain up a very little bit, nothing really to get excited about. You take a look at the semiconductor ETF down slightly on the day, but it really just comes down to NVIDIA, which finished down on the day. But my outlook on this stock remains the same. I'm really not interested in hearing about the market forming a high of significance until NVIDIA hits 250. That's been my target on this stock for a while. And it's the target projected from this multi-month range that this stock broke out from back in mid to late April. So it's making higher highs and higher lows. It corrected through time for about 8 months. This is a monster base. So I don't think that stocks are going to experience a meaningful pullback until NVIDIA hits its target. I mean, after all, this is the biggest and probably the most important stock of this bull market right now. But even other chip stocks, whether it's AMD holding up nicely, Broadcom looks exceptional too. You have earnings for Broadcom at the beginning of June, so that could be a market mover. Let's not forget that, Google hit a new all-time high yesterday. I'd love to see this stock digest and go sideways a little bit. And even Apple, Apple's still hanging out near the highs. But one of the plays that I'm looking for now is that there's three stocks within these mega cap tech names, call them the Mag 10, if you will. Palantir, Meta, and Microsoft. They're all negative on the year. So I'm actually looking for a rotation into these names. I think there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of value. Palantir still down around 20% year to date. Meta not really doing anything exciting, and you even have a potential lower high here. But you get above, I have an alert set right there, 618.43. You close above there, things could get really interesting. But when it comes to Microsoft, this is the one that I think with the most potential for rotation. And the reason why is because there's been a big trade playing out, especially amongst the hedge fund class, where everyone is overweight semiconductors now, piling into that sector, that segment of the broader tech space. And there's just no love for software right now. Well, it just so happens that the broader software ETF broke out from this bottoming pattern. And the most important software stock in the world is Microsoft. So I'm actually looking for Microsoft to reassume some leadership in a way. I don't think it's going to be outperforming, the chips of the mega cap names just yet, but Microsoft does look really good, and it is setting up for substantially higher prices. I think, especially if you get above, 432, let's say 430, 435, I think it looks really strong. VIX did finish a little higher today, at least in the VIX contract. We did roll to June, but nothing really that is concerning that much. VIX cash finished slightly higher. Crude oil continues to climb to the upside. The big question is on this continuous chart, can we form a lower high here and continue to go sideways? Now, bonds are breaking down big time. This is raising a lot of concerns, adding to the bearish sentiment in this overall market. But it is worth pointing out that credit spreads, especially if you compare treasuries to corporate bonds or even junk bonds, they are holding up. They're stable. They're down. They're widening a little bit, but they're not blowing out. It's not signaling, hey, we're about to crash. But the bigger story is when you zoom out and take a look at these longer term charts. Could ZB, the 30-year bond, take out that low from October of 2023? That is certainly a possibility, but what's being lost in the conversation is how the yield curve is steepening and steepening significantly. Long-term yields, long-term interest rates are rising at a much faster rate than shorter-term yields. And that means inflation, but it also means economic growth. This is the big difference between now and 2022 that I don't hear anyone talking about. Because in 2022, when we had inflation, you still had two negative quarters of GDP, you had a bear market, but the yield curve was also inverted. And so it's one of those things where you have to add context to bonds. You can't just say, oh, hey, look, interest rates are up and we're going to crash. No, or how are interest rates behaving relative to different periods of time? Well, it's actually looking stronger. It's the complete opposite of what we had last time in 2022 when the Fed was raising short-term rates at their fastest rate in history, raised them so much to the point that they were above long-term rates. Well, we don't have that right now, so it's a completely different ballgame comparing apples to apples. That being said, in 2 of the last 3 weeks, the energy sector has been the strongest performing one in the market. Not exactly what bulls want to see. So let's see if we can get a sell-off in XLE going into the back half of the week. That would be a good sign. I think a lot of it's going to come down to NVIDIA to see if it can trigger some inflows back into the tech space, which has been, lagging a little bit to start this week. Take a look here at gold and silver. I'm not really surprised by these sell-offs here. I just don't think this is home to the hot money at the moment. I mean, considering silver was, 4x last year in 8 months, you're just not going to see it rise at that same rate, for probably another few months at least. So I'm not really too excited on precious metals. You take a look here at crypto. This is another one. I'm looking for a higher low. This could be an interesting setup, especially when it comes to the market's risk appetite. I'm watching that pretty closely at the moment. And in terms of, other trades I'm looking at, I'm just taking things pretty easy right now. Had a little bit of cash being raised, but I'm still pretty bullish in this market. I do like what's going on in the uranium sector, especially if we make a higher low here in URA, the global uranium ETF, above this low from March 30th. We know that this is a sector that is linked at the hip to AI and that entire semiconductor trade, really, data center. So I'm watching this very closely. I think that could be a nice hybrid type of play between the energy sector and tech. So watch uranium. I have numerous names on my watch list. But that's going to do it for today, everyone. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you inside the trade desk. Take care.